Okay, y'all, how y'all doing out there in the podcast realm? I am DJ Intence, your host with the most, for another lovely episode of On the Record Podcast. To the left, I have no other than I am Walt. What's up, my boy?
What's up, big homie? What's up, first time, last time listeners?
Yes.
Everything in between?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so, wow. So this week has been nothing but a Rihanna song. Work. Real talk. That's really how it's been. Yesterday was my third double of this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, punched in 10:32 in the morning, didn't punch out till like 11:40 p.m. Just an absolute animal the entire day of work. And just this past week, just, getting extra hours. My biggest thing I've noticed is I don't like when managers put doubles for me. I would like the option if a person can't work the hours, I get a text, or if it's available.
Oh, they just do it off the rip.
That's what it was for some time, I didn't like it.
No.
And then I had to send a text, be like, okay, I'm available on the morning shifts and the lunch shifts. Not to say that I'm not willing to work like the evening and closing shift, but it has to be on my terms.
First of all, don't put me on schedule like that.
Yeah,
I didn't ask. If you ask me to do it, then yes. But if you don't ask me, no.
Because my thing is, originally, that's how I had my schedule set up.
Do doubles?
No, not to do doubles. I originally had it set up where it was morning
and afternoon,
and lunch shifts. Because I'd work the morning shifts on Saturday and Sunday, and I'd do the lunch shifts throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to a point where I started to notice I was doing from like 12 to 5 to then 12 to 5, then 12, then like 6 through 10 or 6 to 9. I'm just like, nah. So I had to send a text again. and from that point on, I got everything sorted out. Now I have a dishwashing position now where I'm pretty much gonna work maybe 5 to 6 days out the week.
At the same location, someplace else.
At the same location, because because we just got a new manager. I don't know if he's like more of an interim manager, so I don't know if he's gonna be there permanently. But now, it's gonna be 10 to 5, and he's just looking to give people hours. So he'd rather give people that he already knows and stuff like that. So
did he get moved up, or somebody who's been transferred over?
So what happened is the manager I had at the manager originally had eventually left, and now she went to a different location that's in higher demand. Then the manager that I had for that period of time decided to be like, I'm done with the hospitality thing. And my thing is, I understood because she's been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
So she just wants something new.
Okay.
So I completely understand and respect that, and that time was great. Her the manager that I had, that like her like assistant manager in a sense, just up and left. Really cool guy, but he just up and left. No notice, no 2 weeks, no nothing. So it just looks really bad at that particular level. Now this guy who's coming from a different location, he has a certain standards and stuff like that, but I don't know if he's gonna be the guy long term. But for now because I said I was interested in doing dishwashing and things like that. So I think for now he's gonna rotate it where maybe I do like 3 days dishwashing and then 3 days where I normally do what I normally do, which is cashier. But nonetheless, my thing is like if I'm getting 6, maybe 7 or 5 to 6 days out the week, I'm Gucci.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but again, as far as doubles, people, I'm just saying, young people my age and vice versa, when it comes to doubles, do it on your terms.
Yes. And when you do a double, make sure you have comfortable shoes and comfortable equipment on, because there's nothing worse than to move around or to sit and you're not comfortable for those amount of time.
Yeah, that's the one thing I will say about my time in Timo. It got to a point where like we could actually sit,
Yeah.
and things like that. And I also noticed that other places that I've applied to, like Optimum, they sit over there,
But I'm sure that they sit down and they have a little cushioned seats. They're wearing something comfortable on their feet.
Yeah,
for long term.
absolutely.
things in that nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm happy for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you are happy for yourself, I'm happy for you. There's always still room for growth.
No,
You don't know where this can lead to. Maybe
this
this can lead from a dishwashing. Then people see you work your shit. You work your ish. Yo, by the way, you want to be assistant manager or key holder or shift leader, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, people like that start from that level and they have ambitions to go up higher. They start from the ground up.
Absolutely. That's honestly that's the best. That's the best way to start. Only from the perspective, like, it's not to say that if you go to school for certain things, that you shouldn't have a higher position if you have the experience, internship, and the knowledge.
That helps
and stuff like that. But it's also great to start from the ground up, or it's also good to know that you have no problem getting your hands dirty, because there's certain people who are so full of themselves, and I noticed that in my previous work, that they forget, like, they sort of try to, like, feel like they're above the people from on the ground. I'm just like, bro, like, yo, we're the front lines. You don't know how this dynamic always goes when we're dealing with customers and selling to them, or trying to create a need for something that they generally do not want. And that's a lot of things I experienced in phones. Phones and that level of selling, it is super selfish and a lot of times inconsiderate when it comes to the customer. The customer generally wants something that's cool. But for me to try to make a situation or create a situation where I could potentially be lying, I was never with that, bro.
Okay.
That was my thing. Yeah, but
as for Moa, I put some time in. I'm going to be putting time in again for this month.
Nice.
Shout out to the good folks upstate New York, Middletown, Jay-Z Sports Bar. Lovely establishment, great staff. The food is tasty. The hookah slaps. The alcohols are pretty decent.
I did not know he had a sports bar all the way up there.
Yeah, it's in Middletown. Mr. Schino is the man who runs the place. Very down-to-earth guy, humble dude, doing his things.
So who's been up there at some point?
Who's been up there so far?
Jay. Now, Jay at some point has been up there to, like, you know.
Oh, not Jay-Z.
Oh.
It's called Jay-Z Sports Bar. Not Jay-Z. No.
Okay.
Ain't no way. I'm sure you can probably do it, but, how the optics look in such a place like that, it's like it's on the outskirts of Middletown, this spot.
I mean, he'll probably think about this area, given for the fact based on, like, he has a family member.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just saying.
We don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure his aspirations are bigger things because
Oh, absolutely.
He owns liquor, he owns that, so he's more of that right now.
Yeah, you're right.
Not into like the 40-40 club stuff like that. That's self-ran.
Yeah, that was could we argue that certain businesses represented certain eras of Jay, like the 40-40 club,
Yeah.
There was an era where it was basically a nightlife, a different time, a younger Jay, different space.
As you get older,
Yeah.
you start fine-tuning, where your income comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Look at for me, for example, I don't want to be in the shake clubs anymore like that.
No?
I'm trying to pull out left and right.
Yeah.
And, I'm pivoting right now.
I think your ceiling is much higher than that type of
Oh,
nightlife.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
much higher than that type
Trust
of
me.
nightlife.
Trust me. I know.
Yeah.
So,
And I think I know your ceiling is much higher than
so
that type
traveling
of
to
nightlife.
different places,
Yeah.
going to different venues, going outside of Rockland, maybe going to Connecticut, maybe going to Middletown, Newburgh, Poughkeepsie. There's some venues up there looking for DJs, so
Absolutely.
I can go up there and do that too.
Yeah.
We don't know. What I like about me traveling around, I'm seeing how different places are ran. The further away from the city you get,
Mm-hmm.
as a DJ, the better it is as far as if you're good at what you do, people will come. Like for the city, it feels like a gimmick. But when you go upstate and you travel out and you're still doing your thing, people generally come for you. Because there's been venues I've gone to upstate, and they're like, "Yo, we can't wait till you come back." And I show up, and they're there again, and they're there again, and they're there again. So all right, so I'm doing something right.
Do you believe it's just the frequency and the pace of the people?
Yeah, but sometimes too because of technology and the frequency and pace, everybody is still close connected. So the energy you bring to a party, you know what I mean? It can vary sometimes. I find I have more fun traveling outside the urban areas and attacking those venues. And then when I get to the city, attack those two as well. But I'm like moving around I'm slithering around like a snake.
I get what you're saying.
And I'm inside a rat's nest just feeding and having fun. It's abundance of food, so I never get hungry.
That's how it should be. And we've had various conversations about like areas that have a bit more land, that are slower pace, where we could attract, marquee talent like yourself, like other artists.
Yeah. The thing is, you have to find the owner willing to spend for it. And sometimes these guys are not willing to. If they do want that, they want it at a bigger venue. So there's money in these places. These owners have a bag to spend. I just got to present to them a proper business plan that says, here where I can charge and here what's going to be at, and we'll see.
In my opinion, given how everything is technology and app based.
Oh, dude, Eventbrite, that's all you need.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be foolish not to spend. I think a lot of these restaurants that are still catering to like the older generations, but also making sure they don't disregard younger generations in terms of like, a culture disconnection. I think at this point, a lot of these restaurants need a PR, a public relations, kids that are tapped in with what's current, certain ways.
Oh, they're doing it. You're
Because
seeing
it just makes more sense.
Not all are doing it.
Yeah.
Again, those further out from the city, you're seeing the closer to the urban areas you get, the more they're tapped into doing things of that nature. But the further out you go, these are my customers. They've been there for X amount of years. But I say eventually you have to get some new people in.
Yeah,
because eventually these people get old and they might not show up again.
Yeah, that's not saying you don't have to lose your core.
No.
But you got to extend it.
Yeah, you got to expand it a little bit more.
Yeah.
They always say expand your portfolio, per se.
Yeah. It's important.
So I had Jay-Z's bar last week. Shout out to them. I just did a little set over at River Outpost. Kind of upset with that because the rain messed up the whole day.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't get it, man. People will say that it'd be packed, it'd be lit. It's all that. And when it's my turn to get there, bro, it's always something. The last two times I've been there was a rain delay. Well, one was a rain delay, and I think one was it was Memorial Day weekend or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn.
I mean, the weather is changing, and I feel like because it's been so hot and humid, that could have happened at any given time.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I don't think it's anything against you. I think it's just the dates. Yeah.
It's funny. I remember last year, summer, it rained like almost every weekend for the whole summer.
Yo, yeah, it was bad.
It was bad.
It was bad.
It was terrible last year summer. I remember like last year summer, it was awful for events outdoors.
Yeah.
Thank God most of them were inside,
but
it was like every weekend it would rain.
I agree.
It was almost like three months of weekend rain for the whole month, for the whole summertime into fall. I believe that. No, it was that. It was that. If you guys can get a chance to look it up, what was the last year's weather in the tri-state area during the summer? More times than not on the weekends, it rained.
Yeah.
Terrible. But I was still getting paper, still hustling, still doing what I got to do. Now I was, pivoting. We had that upcoming. I have one at the Copper. I got a Sweet 16. I got 2 Sweet 16s to do. I also have to do again. River Outpost in August.
Give me the date for that in August.
That's the first. I think the first second week in August, do River Outpost.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna be at Celante's end of this month too.
All right.
So get your popcorn ready. Tri-State. I'll be at Celante's end of this month, having a grand time with those people there. I love when I go there.
Give me the date. I might have one of my coworkers to
Yeah. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. So yeah, man, just staying busy, staying locked in. You know, these artists are coming through. More artists are putting work out. I love what I'm seeing. It's good vibes. Good vibes.
Absolutely. I was thinking to myself, as radical as it is, because of the way the River Outpost looks and things like that, would it behoove to aim for a bigger artist just to draw more attention to up and coming artists? Like that stage I know is small, but like the one artist that keeps coming to mind in terms of outdoors scenery, and she's a superstar at this point. Don't get me wrong, she's a superstar at this point, so getting her would cost a lot of bank. I could definitely see SZA making waves over there.
Yeah, because of the waterfront.
The waterfront and just the fact of who she is at this point.
So what I discovered, apparently they have a club insurance.
Okay.
So here's what I found out with certain venues.
Yeah.
When you book certain artists,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have insurance to cover for that day.
Yeah.
So depending on how much the artist is worth, you match that insurance coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So places like that, they can't tap. They're gonna tap a certain amount of artists.
Okay.
So they can't go that high over.
Gotcha.
Like SZA, anybody who's a soul selective person or even an alternate band, because that stage is small, but because how massive outside is, you can pack that thing out in a heartbeat. You can open up inside, have the outdoor, everything ready.
Very easily.
Very easily. Heck, I believe in 2 weeks at Jay-Z Sports Bar, they're gonna have talent. They're gonna do a comedy show up there. So you can do a comedy show at River Outpost. There's a lot of mixed things you can do there because it's a mixed use spot.
Yeah.
But it's within what are these owners willing to spend for these type of acts? That's that's the thing they look at. Because I spoke to the powers that be over there about getting a marquee artist, and this is what they told me. So I have to get somebody who's not at that level yet, but who's rising up to that level.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I will say I'm not saying like hand out a blank check, but at some point you're gonna have to throw some bait in there and test the waters.
For them, I'm gonna leave the thoughts to myself. Yeah. Nothing bad.
No.
Like you said, testing the waters is
constructive
right.
criticism.
Yeah.
No.
We'll talk about it off camera.
Okay. No problem. I got you. No problem.
All right, man. Let's get into these stories, right?
Yep.
All right. Mine's gonna be a doozy. The Supreme Court. Just when I thought, hey, they might have some common sense around here.
It's a first class stuff show.
Bruh. I know it's a hot topic with the Supreme Court. Shout out to Mr. Beats. He's a guy online that teaches about courts and law and things of that nature, and gives out his interpretation so that the common man can understand certain laws or certain, amendments and rights and stuff of that nature. He has a book called, I think it's How the Supreme Court Works.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole entire history, only one Supreme Court judge has been impeached.
Wow.
And the only reason why he was impeached is because of his biased opinion about there only being two parties to represent this country. Because back when the Constitution first started, there was like a bunch of different parties. And then it started getting narrower and narrower down to just two.
So
his take was, I believe that there should be more parties involved. not just only 2. And because of that, they try to get rid of him. But he ended up staying in New York.
Okay, so they try to get rid of him because it wasn't, I guess, politically in the interest of the Supreme Court.
Not Supreme Court, but
the members of the Supreme.
The government.
Okay.
Yeah, his name was Samuel Chase. Look him up.
I'll definitely do that. But my whole thing is, I agree with him.
This is the only nation in the world that has a two-party system. Now, within those 2 parties, there's subset parties. Mm-hmm. So you have the Working Family Party, the Tea Party, the MAGA Party. So there's different type of subsets in it.
Yeah.
But all in all, there's 2 major parties in this country.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's an independent party too as well. But more times than not, they're not getting the shine like everybody else. And I bought that book about a week ago, and it finally came in today. And just from today, when I was going to do this story only, we got the news of what the Supreme Court ruled for Donald Trump. So I'm going to get into that too as well. But let me backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
So the reason why I thought the Supreme Court had some common sense is because the Supreme Court uphold a domestic violence gun restriction. So apparently, the Supreme Court of the United States upheld a federal law that prohibits people subjugated to domestic violence restraining orders from having firearms. The court voted 8-1 in favor of the Biden administration's that defending the law, one of several federal gun restrictions currently facing legal challenges. Other gun laws are likely to remain despite the court's 2022 decision to expand gun rights. As you remember, the courts ruled in 2022. They ruled that granted gun rights to bear arms outside the home under the Second Amendment. That was the whole thing New York was worried about firearms outside of a concealed weapon.
Okay.
Because in New York, it was banned.
Yes.
And then New York went to the Supreme Court to uphold it, and they struck us down. That's why they started having right to conceal arms to have outside. But New York made it so strict, it's really hard to get to carry a firearm to conceal it outside. So, like, for example, right, if I have a firearm in New York and I'm a licensed to carry, the firearm out here, I'm licensed to have. But if it's inside my pocket or covered up, I can't. It's not allowed. I have to have a license for that.
Okay.
So that was what New York was fighting against of a concealed weapon.
It's fighting
at the time. So you can have a weapon, but it has to be visibly seen. That's what it means, whether concealed or not concealed.
Okay.
Attorney General Merrick Garland welcomed the ruling as the law protects victims by keeping firearms out of those who threaten their families, partners, and children. How this case came to court was because of Zaki Rahami, a Texas man whose partner obtained a restraining order against him in February 2020. He argued that he cannot be persecuted under the law, but to no victory at all. Rahami himself has been involved in 5 shootings over the 2 months prior to this ruling. And I'm going to break down his story too as well. Of why I'm like, thank you, the Supreme Court has some common sense about cases for people with DV. The only lone guy who voted against the law was who? Who do you think, Iron Walt? What Supreme Court justice is just radical as himself? One guy.
I feel like I know you're talking about, but I just don't have the name.
Justice Clarence Thomas claims the law strips a person of his or her ability to possess a firearm and ammo without any due process.
Really?
Yep. That's what he said. Just last week, at the time, this was done June 21st. Just last week, the Supreme Court said that bump stocks aren't unlawful. Do you know what a bump stock is?
I do not know what a bump stock
So a
is.
bump stock is an accessory for semi-automatic rifles to fire it more rapidly. So essentially, you can hold it in place and you load more shots. Because when you fire a rifle that's semi-automatic, it just goes over the place.
Yes.
But the bump stop, basically, it's like a handle in the front of the assault rifle to hold it in place.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't go over. It just stays right where it is.
Oh.
So at the time, it was unlawful.
So it increases your chances of hitting your target more
yes,
accurately.
because you can hold it.
Yeah.
So it was unlawful for any person to have that. And the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 that it was lawful to obtain a bump stock.
Yeah.
Other groups said the rule will disarm others who haven't committed any DV. You know what DV is? Domestic.
Oh, yeah.
So here's what Rahimi is doing right now. Currently, Rahimi is in prison for DV in 2019 as he insulted a woman, the same woman who put a restraining order on him. He knocked her to the ground, dragged her into his car, and put her in it, and knocked her head on the dashboard. Rahimi is serving a 6-year prison sentence. Wow. So, I said, okay. The Supreme Court. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking you guys doing something good finally, right? You know?
Yeah.
Because you guys been ruling very, very crappy in recent memory. You know what I'm saying?
Bit shaky.
Got rid of affirmative action. Got rid of Roe versus Wade. You know, stuff like that nature.
Crazy.
Basically putting abortion in the state's hands, and then Donald Trump lying on the presidential debate about abortion rights, about how the Democrats are killing kids at 9 months term, which is not true. It's a lie. So, you know, it's different variables, right? I'll have to that later. Also, another thing too, the Supreme Court struck down was Chevron deference. If those that know what that means, basically says, and I'm quoting. Pull it up right here, because it was just blasphemous that they were talking about. So Chevron deference it was a law put in place 40 years ago that allowed the federal agencies to enforce the laws for different type of environmental disasters. Prime example, Chevron was an oil company. Those oil spills you see that happens down there,
Yep.
the EPA gets involved.
Okay.
And they determine what laws they can subpoena on the company. Supreme Court struck that down. Supreme Court says that we as the justices are here to determine the laws instead of the federal agencies who are made to regulate these industries. So now, let's just say, for example, a train that derails in Rockland County, has chemicals on it, explodes, leave a crater inside Garnerville. The Supreme Court now rules that I forget who regulates the train. So I'll look it up right now. Hold on. Who regulates the train system? The FRA, the Federal Railroad Administration, doesn't have the right to sue or to come after the company without talking to the Supreme Court first, or any of those courts in the New York area. So if they were to sue and they bounce up appeal, the Supreme Court has a final say-so on that. Mind you, these federal agencies are put into place to monitor these companies. So now you strip the powers from the federal agencies.
And you give it all to the Supreme Court.
Supreme Court, who are now in pockets with these companies.
It's a conflict of interest.
They're the final law, my friend. Do you know that because of 2016 when Donald Trump got into office, there are now 3 conservative judges who are there right now? 3.
Yeah.
He gets it again?
All right, so I'm being 3 more.
And mind you, already with the Supreme Court, you've turned for life.
Yeah.
So I got to deal with these 3 numbnuts in the Supreme Court office for the next 30, 40 years, making laws.
It's a hell of a gig. It's a hell of a gig. Yes, Art, to me, you could argue in terms of higher positions in the land, that's arguably the best gig you have.
Yeah.
Like by
Now,
far.
granted, these guys are making $280,000 per year, but because they can get, endorsements from certain companies, and they're not held liable for it. You already see with Clarence Thomas, he gets bought out.
They got a sensational health plan too.
Oh yes. You see how often Clarence Thomas gets bought out and gets thrown in different places and considered as gifts.
You're such a good guy.
Don't get me started.
Stir it up.
Don't get me started. You can't do nothing with me. You really can't do nothing with this right here, boy. Okay? Because you don't know how I'm giving it up.
You want to hide it for the world? I'm going to put it out there for them to see.
Hey. That's why we tell y'all you got to go out there and vote. Because slowly but surely, your rights are being pulled from underneath you. And not to mention, they now allow states to make homelessness a crime.
Yeah, I saw that. It's disgusting out here. I saw some video. I think they were doing it in was it Oregon or Seattle?
Yes.
One of those states. It's really, really,
so
really
imagine now, if you are homeless, caught in the street, and your town's an ordinance to arrest you.
Yep.
Because you're homeless? Are you kidding me?
That's disgusting.
Nasty behavior. Nasty.
That is right up there with squatters' rights.
Okay.
That's right up there with squatters.
So you have that going on. You got abortion got taken away, and affirmative action is just vaporized.
That's crazy.
Okay. How is that going on? Then before I know it, mind my business. Your boy, Donald Trump, with his attempt to get immunity, they fast-tracked that case into the Supreme Court. They couldn't rush it up there any faster.
Well, when you have money and influence, you can fast-track a lot of things.
Okay? These guys, recently ruled. Oh wait, no, it's not. I'm sorry, ABC News. I'm just giving it to you as I'm coming along, folks. That the former President Trump. Where did it go?
Donald Trump. One of the most polarizing figures ever.
He recently.
Wonder how many open cases he has on him.
Okay. Sorry. Got it now. So Supreme Court today ruled that in Trump's immunity case, that former presidents are entitled to immunity for official acts, but have no immunity for unofficial acts.
I don't know where the line is drawn between that.
Essentially, president can go into office and does whatever he wants and can say it's for an official act. What are we doing here, folks? What are we doing here? I find it comical that the person who was the highest citizen in the nation now has a blank check to do whatever he wants. So, prime example, well, Richard Nixon from Watergate, that could have been deemed as an official act. What Ronald Reagan did in the 80s, early 90s, the stuff that he was pulling off. And he got into legal trouble, so Bush pardoned him. Can be deemed as an unofficial act. Or an official act. And he can get a pass.
That's crazy.
And this is where it's comical to me because now the Supreme Court essentially made it as if he does things in office, it's considered official. But out of office is unofficial. We don't know where the line blurs.
Yeah, we can't live in the world of semantics and that world and that lack of understanding because what is deemed, I guess, within bounds could be super out of bounds.
Exactly.
And it's like I don't think that. I think that's the dangerous precedent that's being set. It's bad enough this guy is getting passes and has these pending cases, and he's able to pretty much stiff arm him to the back in favor of his campaign, which he just might end up winning again.
I don't think so. I really hope not.
Well,
I hope people are not foolish enough to do it.
I think people will just Sleepy Joe, and a lot of people are not. I think there's still a lot of people not quite sold on Kamala Harris. It's sort of like, for some people, they feel like she's, using her blackness when she needs the votes or when it suits her. Sort of like, other conversations we've had in regards to this topic.
Yeah. I just feel that this Supreme Court's a joke. They're trying to push through the agendas. They've been trying to push through years and using these judges to get ahead of the curve. And it's not right.
No.
Okay?
But here's the thing, though.
They're taking things and undoing it. Plessy v. Ferguson could be on the docket next about interracial couples getting married.
Can you say now more than ever that we are no longer independent from our ethics versus the people that stand beside us or go to bat for us? Because when you're getting sworn into a position like of that much power and long term, are you really pressed to just uphold the law and not cater to who got you here,
bro?
Is that a wrestling match?
I feel that's a wrestling match, and when history is all said and done, years down the line, people are gonna be like, "What the hell were we thinking about at this moment in time?"
I concur.
You had a man that has a hush money trial, a fraud case, election fraud, an uprising to overtake the government going on. And he gets more and more emboldened as the day goes by because he keeps getting bailed out after bailout after bailout. Not to mention, the Supreme Court just ruled as well. Iron Wall. Do you know that no longer in this country, if you marry a foreigner overseas and bring them here, they can't get their green card automatically? Wow. They just ruled on that too.
Like I said, I think it just comes down to.
So, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Let's say if I, DJ Intence, had kids in Guyana.
Yes.
And I wanted to bring my kids here.
Yep.
And because they're my children, they automatically, boom, you should be, and my wife is down there. It may not happen.
We know why, though.
And then this guy has a nerve to go on TV recently and say, "Oh, if you're overseas, you come to this country and get your degree from college. I'll make sure you get your green card." You lie, because you try to get rid of the dreamers in your first term there. What are we talking about here? No. You tried to get rid of people in this country who are firemen, lawyers, police officers, EMS workers, anything that was essential, anything they were doing prosperous. You tried to get rid of them. What are we talking about here? People, wake up. Wake up. This election this year is very important. And I get it. Some of you guys is gonna, you're like, oh, it's too positive, Dookie. But I'm gonna sit myself on the couch. Let me tell you what these white folks are doing. Let me tell this right here. When black folks go and protest, white folks are going to the polls.
Yeah, all the time.
So keep thinking, just sit on your buns, and that's all it's gonna be about, and that's it. Them same white folks can go to the polls, ladies and gentlemen. Do not sit on your buns. Do not rest on your hands.
One of the things,
because they're going to go to the polls, and slowly but surely, your right to be taken away in front of your face. And you're going to ask about, what about this? What about that? What about this? You see it unfold in front of your face. Go and vote. I'm not telling you to vote for Democrat, Republican, whatever. I'm telling you to vote for whoever you think is going to help with your children in the future. Because it's one party that seems that they don't give a damn, and one party that sits on their hands. But there's people in those parties that are going to help for your future. That's all I got to say.
I think one of the things that's controversial and polarizing as he is, even though there's a method to his madness and his unfiltered perspective, is one of the things Charleston White was saying was that when it comes to black issues, people only protest when it's racially beneficial to them, or it's something where a white person, a white cop did to them, versus being consistent when it's just a general issue.
Yeah.
So my thing is, like, what you just said rings true. We could sit out here, protest, put signs all day to get coverage off of CNN and all these other media outlets, local or syndicated media platforms, but the point is like the change is not just in the protest. The change is in the voting. The change is understanding like that the unity is only as strong as its weakest link.
Yeah.
So my thing is, everybody has an agenda, and the thing is, what you're saying is true. We need to vote for our bottom line, and I don't mean money. I mean like what are the things that you're looking for that these respective candidates are saying that caters to you and beneficial to
and to
to
know
everybody.
that these respective candidates aren't lying to your face.
Yeah.
Like that one guy did in Long Island. And it was in the House of Representatives.
That's the thing too.
George Santos.
Yeah.
That crook.
The thing is, and that's the thing. I don't think people care to look up these candidates, their policies, and also I feel like it shouldn't. People should be more diligent enough to like, and even myself, I've always been an advocate on human decency. Politics is nasty business because I feel like, in my opinion, it's just a web of entanglement, of past mistakes, of an old guard probably trying to overthrow any type of innovation or progression. But the thing is, though, we always have the steps to put in and remove till something is done and done correctly. The problem is, I don't think the people that are voting or not voting don't do enough due diligence to see who these people really are every time they speak with others, what their past is as far as how they got to this point, what laws that they approve, and if they were not in favor or beneficial to society, and now they're singing a different tune, have they acknowledged it? Because we could all say that, because we could all say this is what we're in favor of, but our actions could say this is what I'm really on of the past. So the things that are keeping up, in Joe Biden's skeletons, and also you're looking at Donald Trump's just like plethora of just charges. It's and I don't ever want to say it comes down to the lesser of two evils, or it's better to deal with the evil that you know. Because at the end of the day, both these gentlemen have an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
My whole thing is just like we're seeing just mud thrown at one or the other. How is the country going to move forward? That's the real question. Because we all could watch and be like, oh my God, it's gonna be a train wreck. It's gonna be a train wreck. It's gonna be a train wreck. But can we enjoy? But can we at some point get to the point where like, thank God there wasn't a train wreck. Can we get to that point?
It's a smear campaign right now on both sides. I'm seeing because that's what Trump likes.
It's a place. It's a place that he likes to exist, and we've seen various forms of this, and I'm sure someone is writing a book and or at least getting all the intel that person is up until this point. It's the art of perception. We witnessed a very high profiled, battle with two entertainers where it would just came down to control. It would just came down to who had the master class on the art of perception. It's the same thing with politics. Now we're at a point where it's not about the people. It's about the art of perception. How does this one look versus the other?
I already spoke to you guys about how the Senate, the Congress, how this has been the worst Congress in history, because all they do is just bicker, and the Republican Party stall out bills, get nothing passed, and just be like, "Oh, this world's coming down. You guys didn't do nothing." No. And you see in the Supreme Court how they've been ruling, just untwisting things that were in the past to protect our future. And right now, at this moment in time, they're just unwinding it. I didn't even get into states like what Oklahoma and Louisiana are trying to preach right now, of how we had separation of church and state in politics, and now they're blurring the lines. I'll break down the next story, what Louisiana did, and your jaw's going to drop to the floor. But it's like I said, folks,
it's a joke. It's a my thing.
They're not playing around.
My thing about that whole separation of church and state, it's always been a joke. Because when you think about the qualifications to be president, it probably still stands. Usually over 35, usually married, right? Usually married, maybe family man, a couple of kids, and yes, they do look into your beliefs from a religious standpoint.
Yeah.
So it's not like they separate your religion versus what your politics are.
What I mean separation of church and state is not having laws that teach religious things in the forefront.
Okay, so
all right, for example, I'll just might as well tell you now.
Yeah.
So recently in Louisiana, just passed a bill that the 10 Commandments must be in every public school.
We know why.
But that is not separate church and state.
It's not because it's in your face. But
they're able to teach it as a teacher.
Yeah.
How can you teach religion to kids? Public school. Now, if you want that, go to private school for that.
You're right.
Or take your kid to homeschool.
Yeah.
Don't put that in my. So let's say I'm Muslim.
Yeah.
Why teach about the 10 Commandments? That's not my religion.
It's not.
That is not my religion.
It's not.
Or if I'm Jewish or Hindu, whatever religion I am, why are you trying to teach about someone else's religion? That's not what that's for. So that's gonna be something that down the line what happens with that.
Can we just say there are parts of the West that are trying to adopt ways of the East?
The Southerners?
No, I'm just talking about Western civilization. What you are describing right now is how a lot of the East lives, where you're including religion, and politics.
Well, that's their business. But in this country,
yeah,
they was founded on separation of church and state, and no man should be a king.
No, I'm with you.
And with the way it's not having God in law. They try to separate that because that's what's going on in England at the time.
Yeah.
That's why they want to be there. And plus, we're getting taxed. And the Americans didn't want that. So they wanted to separate themselves from all that.
Yeah.
And it's 2024, and they're undoing what they did in 1776. Make it make sense, folks.
They are making it make sense for them. For them. They're making it make sense for them. That's what they're
For
trying
the
to tell you.
minority, how they feel
Yeah.
is affecting this whole country's worth of laws. Make it make sense.
You know,
And then Oklahoma follows suit right now. And Oklahoma has a new law they just signed as far as, I'm going to break the story about the Ten Commandments. But in Oklahoma, was Oklahoma or Alabama? One of those two states is close by, made it a law where teachers have to teach the Bible to kids in school.
this is what I'm saying, Kev.
If you want to be taught, your child to be taught the Bible, go to private schools. There's Catholic schools for that. There's religious schools for that. Don't put it in public schools.
Bro, like I said, we're in a time where information is so accessible. They don't want independent thinkers no more. They don't want the truth. Look, bro, they're trying to get rid of Black history, which is essentially American history in this country. So there is it's an agenda happening in different parts to a point where at some point they're trying to get it. They're going to try to get it where it's across the board.
People can get mad at me all you want.
Yeah.
I do not feel that Black History Month should exist because Black history is American history. You cannot hide that.
You can try.
You can try to, but you can't hide it.
You can't hide it.
Okay? And whenever they teach about Black history, it's the same three people.
Yeah.
Malcolm X,
Martin Luther King Jr.
Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks.
Right. It's way beyond that.
It's way beyond that.
It's way beyond
Madam
that.
C.J. Walker, Thurgood Marshall.
Marcus Garvey.
There's a lot of other people.
Yeah. That left
Frederick
their mark.
Douglass. There's a lot of other people there
Yeah.
that you can bring about for Black history.
Facts.
And the way how these
Thurgood Marshall, Wynton Marsalis
Yeah.
was a famous trumpet. I wrote an article on like, but no, you're absolutely
there's
right.
way more people than that.
Yeah.
And for them to keep, heck, look, Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah.
In Condoleezza Rice, recent memory.
Colin Powell.
Colin Powell.
There's like
It's a lot of people.
Mhm.
But it's all those same three people. And then when you read the text in certain parts of this country, they'll make it seem that Rosa Parks gently gave up her seat or didn't want to do. No, she was pulled off that bus.
yeah.
And the only reason why the Montgomery bus changed the laws because the blacks were using the buses to travel and was bleeding the country that bus route, that bus company dry.
Yeah. They had to. Like I said, it gets
When they boycotted them, it wasn't a change overnight.
Yeah.
The company went into the red.
Yeah.
Had they not gone the red, who knows what could happen to this day?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, the power of the dollar speaks.
Yes.
You're not,
That's clearly
you know,
see how they did it, folks? They said, F it, we're going to walk them. Or we'll just commute them in our cars ourselves. For that length of time that they boycotted for. Until the bus company said, you know what? You got to change the laws because we're getting killed out here.
Yeah.
The county losing money.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what happens.
So, again, like Killer Mike says, you got to go vote. And don't just vote every 4 years. You vote every year. If you got there's judges who are appointed. There's town clerks who are appointed. There's multiple people that was appointed for these office. If they don't enact the policies that favor for you to betterment your community, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Or find somebody else that's going to be in there to do the job. I've always told Sabrina Charles Pierre, whenever the day you run, oh, trust me, I'm going to go to 1,000 back for you. So I believe you can do it. Sherry McGill out here. There's a lot of people out here who I believe. And when they're ready to make the leap, I will back you 1,000 times over.
I need to go to more of these like meetings.
Because you know they're trying to build right over on Ewing Avenue.
Mhm.
The reason why that front is gated off,
Yeah.
they're trying to build an apartment complex, housing over there. And we've been fighting that thing for years. And they sneakily try to get it in there. and I believe somebody sued and stopped the progress for that. They were having secret minutes for that thing, not letting people know when the meetings were going to occur and blase, and we don't want that here.
No.
It's bad enough to get down Ewing Avenue at 4:00 in the afternoon.
It's
was
terrible.
never like that ever.
It was terrible.
It just did it recently.
It's terrible.
The past I'll say since 2022
Something like that.
when they started building those stupid houses up there.
Yeah.
Now they're trying to build. Already the park floods. Nanuet already floods. I have never seen so much flooding in my life until they started knocking down the trees back there and clearing the land over there.
Yeah, it's been really bad.
So you guys don't see a pattern when you're messing with nature, what happens down the line? They don't care.
They do not care, and the thing is, it's not just the geographical aspects of it or the terrain. They don't care in terms of cultural diversity.
Nothing.
They don't care about cultural diversity. They don't care about just like people, just human decency in terms of being able to function. Like the schools that we see that are just empty,
Dude,
is scary.
I get it. In this county right here, I think in the town of Rampo themselves, East Rampo School District themselves. Sorry, we're talking about local things around here because it's just been bothering me.
Yeah.
I believe in our school district, there's around 4,000 kids. 3,000 to 4,000 kids.
Yeah.
Those who go to private sector schools is about double of that.
That's crazy.
That's why the budget keeps getting chopped down one by one. It wasn't like that before.
No.
So, like I said, go and vote. Please vote. Go and vote. I ain't want, man. Here with your story, my boy.
All right, I got you. Cherry drop. You got it for matter of health.
For the throat.
Mm-hmm. All right. Shout out to National Public Radio.
NPR.
Great website.
Yes, they are.
So my first story is a teen tech whiz nicknamed God's influencer will become the first millennial saint. That is like, wow. That's a different type of stature.
Mm-hmm.
So a teenage computer whiz who used the early 2000s internet to spread awareness of the Catholic faith will become the church's first millennial saint. His name is
I read this story too, by the way.
Carlo Kudis, born to Italian parents in London, moved to Milan as an infant, who's a self-taught programmer and graphic designer.
I think he died too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He died in 2006 at age 15 of leukemia.
Yeah.
Is referred to God. He's referred as God's influencer and the patron saint of the internet for his work cataloging Eucharistic miracles around the world, and it soon will be official. Pope Francis and a group of cardinals approved Acutis for canonization at a meeting at the Vatican on Monday. It says he'll be likely proclaimed a saint at some point in 2025 during Church's Jubilee year. For those who don't know, canonization is to declare to be a saint or worthy of public respect. Also, Jubilee year is every 50 years is a time for forgiveness. It stands as a reminder of God's providence and mercy. The dedication of the year for this emphasis provided the community with time and come back into right relationships with another and with God.
Mm-hmm.
Acutis was a devout Catholic who taught himself programming from an early age and created websites with a spiritual focus, including a widely spread database of miracles. He is credited with helping homeless people and defending victims of bullying during his lifetime, and having a hand in 2 healing miracles after his death. Monday's approval clears the final hurdle in a multi-year process, which began in 2013 when the Pope appeared. When the Pope approved the cause for his um for his beatification and canonization, and named Carlo him a servant of God. There are 3 steps to becoming a saint in the Catholic Church. First, the Pope must declare a deceased person venerable or formal recognition that they lived a heroic, virtuous life. In order to bless, one must have to take part in a miracle, which is one of healing. Also, there's canonization, which that I mentioned before, and 2 of the miracles that's synonymous with Carlo Acutis is one is 4-year-old Matthias Vienna, who suffered pancreatic condition, was healed after praying to Acutis and coming into contact with one of the relics, a piece of clothing. The second would be this past May of this year, a girl from Costa Rica suffered a serious head trauma after falling off a bike in Florence, Italy, and recovered against odds after her mother prayed at Acutis' tomb in Sicily, Italy. Carlo Acutis died of acute myeloid leukemia. It's a type of cancer of the blood
cancer.
Yep. Of bone marrow with excess immature white blood cells.
That's what Roman Reigns has right now. Leukemia.
Wow.
He's been wrestling for all this time with leukemia. Remember he had to take time off?
Yeah.
He's going for treatment.
Yeah, I think he did like chemo, lost all his hair and stuff like that.
I don't know about all that.
I think at some point it was one of those things, but yeah, I found this story really interesting in the fact that we have a millennial who was deemed a saint and who had these theocratic beliefs of miracles. It's really cool. It does speak to the type of person he was and the strong faith he has. As I was reading more of the article, his parents were not really religious in that sense, but he did take an interest to it on his own terms. So the fact that he's in fact, one that he died so young is tragic, but to have this level of honor and to be seen as a saint for these type of things, I think it's a very unique situation, and more power to the Pope for recognizing these type of individuals who left their mark on the world.
Yeah. That's good. I saw the story. I was like, wow. At 15, getting knighted.
15. Like,
that's not a bad thing.
Like to me, I'm like, man, he just got here on Earth.
Yeah, but to have such an impact at his age,
incredible,
beautiful thing, incredible thing. All right, I got one more story in there. I might as well get into it. So earlier I was talking about Louisiana.
Yep.
So I might as well break the story now. So Louisiana is a new 10 Commandments law. Louisiana has become the first state to require that the 10 Commandments be displayed in every public school classroom. Republican Governor Jeff Landry and his GOP-dominated legislature got the law signed on June 19th. The law requires a poster-size display of the commandments in all public classrooms from kindergarten to state-funded universities. Governor Landry quoted, "If you want to respect the rule of law, you got to start with the original lawgiver, which was Moses, who got the commandments from God. Along the posters, it will be paired with a context statement describing how the 10 Commandments were a part of American public education almost 3 centuries. These should be in the classroom by the start of 2025. Opponents questioned the laws constitutionally and vowed to challenge it in the courts. Under state law, state funds aren't to be used to implement the mandate. However, the posters will be paid by donations." The law also authorized, but not require, the display of other items in K through 12 public schools. This includes the Mayflower Compact, the Declaration of Independence, the Northwest Ordinance, etc., etc., etc. Civil rights groups and other organizations want to keep religion out of the schools and government and promise to file a lawsuit to challenge it. The law prevents students from getting an equal education, and it will keep children who have different beliefs feel safe at schools. Like I said, similar bills have been proposed in other states like Texas, Utah, and Oklahoma, but with no luck in getting the law passed. However, in 1980, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that Kentucky law was unconstitutional and violated the Establishment Clause in the U.S. Constitution, that Congress can't make a law respecting the establishment of religion. So basically, in 1980, the Supreme Court ruled that you can't have a law to establish a religion. And these guys from Louisiana just trampled over that. Governor Landry has replaced Governor John Bell Edwards before. Starting, folks.
That's disgusting.
Starting. Then your kid trying to learn about his ABCs. Gonna learn about God.
And you see, this is my problem. This all-time world power in the United States always try to put their ideologies and govern other parts of the world where their politics and ideology ties in with their religion and tell them how they should be this and that. And meanwhile, you're taking their blueprint. How does that work? How does that level of hypocrisy work? How does it even sit right with some of these people's spirit? Like, I don't understand it.
What you mean? They got into law, right? Don't shake your head. I'm saying what it is.
It's terrible. I just don't like the hypocrisy. Like it goes back to that unruly statement that dude that reporter said to Farrakhan about when he went to Nigeria, saying like it's the most corrupt country on the planet, and Farrakhan was basically like, nah, bro, you're out of pocket. Yeah, you can't say that to those
I think
people.
that was Ed Bradley who made that. It was a 60 Minutes.
He said
interview.
that. He said that country only existed for X amount of years and stuff like that. I'm here in a country who pretty much has worse atrocities than Nigeria, but you wanna out here, talk out your face about those people and about the other level of corruption. I'm like, bro, do you know we're sitting here having a conversation with skeletons that run deep and vast on this big country of ours.
Very.
And my thing is, like, you have the nerve to open your mouth about those people and how and their way of life. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. All right, y'all. This is my friend Keora. Big shout out to Marco 2 Live and Keanu. She has a song called Too Much. She just dropped her project today. Her project is called, because it just dropped. Sincere. So go check on social media. On the streaming platforms. Keora, Sincere. If I butcher the name Marco 2 Live, I'm sure you will correct me. This is your single called Too Much. And when we get right back, we'll get right back to some more of these news topics. I got some funny stories now to tell y'all. Because I had to get the hard stuff out the way. We've been gone for about 2 weeks, so a lot has happened. And yeah. And wait till we get to the wise guy statement today. Oh, man. Let me get you guys going. We'll be right back with more on the Record Podcast.
Power up.
Can't take no space from anyone. I can never trip over no that don't compare to me. Cause this shit can't find dirt on my name, so they saying anything. It gives them sense. And it really sounds like I got you pressed. How you don't care about me, but talk about me, she a a fan of me. I got plenty of niggas in my phone that wanna spend on me. Don't you play with me. You know I'm the one, it's just my energy. You could say whatever, but I'll never get enough of me. Top two, you know you piece of shit can't come. I know I'm the one she wants to be. It's just something that he sees and keep. But sometimes I'm too much, I'm hard to please. You know I like you rough, I love being thug. Baby, can you keep up? If I was you, I'd me too. I'm the one he's loving the most. You seem just to never come close. Don't need to boast. No, I don't need to boast. I wish I'm super you. I'm the boss, I'm the top shit. Humble me and that's your loss. Ride me a river, get down on those knees. Submit to me. I know I'm the one she wants to be. It's just something that he sees and keep. But sometimes I'm too much, I'm hard to please. You know I like you rough, I love being thug. Baby, can you keep up?
Yep. Got a little food in my system. Feel better now. Needed it. I needed it badly.
My brother's a very talented cook. He's going places.
Yeah. All right. So I am Walt. Part 2. You know, they say that the French are the goats of protest.
Oh,
They're really good. They can teach a masterclass on how to protest. No?
I feel like it's not just them, but I feel like that western part of Europe, bro, they're not playing around when it comes when it comes to certain things that they do not agree with. Man.
They don't play around.
Yeah.
So, my story is about France's unique protests upcoming. Paris, France, of course. The Parisians have been the...
Yep.
Huh?
I think you mean like Parisians?
Parisians, yeah. Parisians have been the creme de la creme of protesting. This latest protest has solidified them as the goats of protesting. Remember, this is the same country that recently had French farmers dump manure and other waste products on the Capitol steps as of last year, I think a couple years ago, like 2 years ago, because of their policy on the French farming. So,
Wow.
they basically dump cow manure, pig manure, just disgusting things on the French steps. The issue of some citizens of France and Paris aren't feeling the decision of the government investing $1 billion in cleaning up the Seine River so athletes can swim in it for the 2024 Paris Olympics. The protesters, however, are planning to defile and defecate into the river before the games. Officials have spent the money to clean up the 481-mile-long river ahead of the 2024 Olympic Games. The games are set to kick off July 26th and end August 11th of this year. The Paris 2024 Olympics. Because they have the triathletes.
That's crazy.
And they swim, they run, they bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to defecate in it.
They're going to defecate. They're going to drop their waste materials into the river just before the games. to prove a point. Taking a dip into the river has been illegal since 1928 because of the pollution in the water, not to mention as well flooding, outdated sewer systems, boats and ships passing through the river doesn't help. And also, I didn't know that a Seeming River used to house the bodies of those who were executed, and also industrial waste was dropped into certain parts of the river. So, in short answer, I'm Walt.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you can swim in the river?
Absolutely not.
You're right, correct. You can't swim in the river because the swimming in it is illegal. However, the improvements are barely hitting low marks to make it safe to swim in. Citizens of France are upset at the wasteful spending on the Olympics. Instead, however, they want better wages. The Gaza protests is going on to stop the genocide in Gaza, better working conditions, and instead of trying to appease the Olympics and the international community, they want them to work on France themselves. France, in return, has agreed to pay bonuses to civil service workers that are working during the Olympics. So here's what the protesters are planning to do their toilet break.
Mm-hmm.
They're planning to do waste drop-offs while the French president Emmanuel Macron and Paris mayor Anne Hidalgo are taking a swim to prove that the water is safe. It happened last week, July 23rd. The hashtag they have up is JZine de la Sevine 23rd Jean. It's the calling call of the protesters. That day was changed until I think it was July the 11th. They keep pushing the day up to make sure the water is clear enough for them to swim into. That French statement translates to "I poop in the same river, June 23rd." It is so in depth what they have done. I am Walt.
Mm-hmm.
They have poop dumps
Yeah.
to tell people when to poop in the river upstream. So by the time the Olympic Games start, or when the presidents and the Paris mayor go to swim in the river, the waste material is already in front of their faces.
That is. I just feel like the Olympics is such a big event, and it's there to so we get the best of the best athletes competing at the highest level, but at the same time it's like you out here busting your chops and making what, 10, 12 bucks during a time which it should be the most lucrative period of the country.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah. But like I said, when these international communities come and do what they do, you saw what they did with Brazil during the Olympics games and how the it just ran down now.
Mm-hmm.
Turned that stadium into a bus depot. So sometimes when the Olympics games pull up, it's a wasteful presence. French citizens, I salute you guys. You guys are goated out here. I commend you. I Walt, man.
Yep.
Your turn.
My story. Oh, right. Nebraska shooting that wounded 7 immigrants may be racially motivated.
Ta-da!
According to the police, my source is Reuters, and the story is by Kanishka Singh. A shooting Friday in Crete, Nebraska that wounded 7 Guatemalan immigrants, including four children, have been racially motivated. Police had adding that the suspected killer later unalived himself. The name of the suspect is identified by police as Billy Booth. Billy Booth opened fire from his house in Crete with a shotgun on a Friday afternoon.
Punk.
Crete Police Chief Gary Young said there was a report in May that the suspect had told victims to go where they came from, and to go where they came from and to speak English.
Hmm.
It's wild. What's so important about this particular situation is that anti Latino crimes in the U.S. have gone up in recent years amid rhetoric surrounding immigration from Latin countries. Hate crimes went up 2.8% from 2021 to 2022, and by 41% from 2020 to 2021. This, according provided by the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism at California State University. Also, another key point that's important is that researchers say that this data can be underreported because some immigrants are hesitant to approach police due to their immigrant status.
So
It's virtually it's still an issue statistically, but it's incomplete.
and I'm having a moment because during 9/11 it was the Arabs.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it went to the black folks.
Mm-hmm.
Then it went to the Asians during COVID. And now we're back to Latinos being assaulted. We are a worthless country. I said it. Sometimes, I just look at us, I'm like, damn. Continue.
So that is the basis of of the story thus far. But what I will say is that again, it just comes down to a form of population control. At this moment in time, I'd say out of all the different, ethnic groups, I'd say they probably fear a lot of the Hispanics because they are, year in, year end getting close to becoming the majority.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what that means when it comes to voting.
Trust me, I do.
So that's that is one of the great fears that's been going on, and this has been a theme throughout our conversations that we had earlier. Because like I said before, part of the reason why the voting works the way it does is that whether there's middle class, upper class, or low class, is from each version of that classism. If there's someone that looks like you that you could identify with, then your vote in a lot of ways is swayed.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you. Now just imagine when we get to the point where we become the majority, and have this much power to vote and influence others to do the same. At some point, we get to a point where okay, I need to get this guy in office. I need this guy here, and you just slowly are positioning, pieces that could be at your disposal at any given time. But these are not just like these are not situations where you know a guy and after that you hire a guy. It's more so like we have a rapport, and now these situations are advantageous to me.
Mm-hmm. The majority of white America feels like they're going to be placed. And the trajectory that it's going on, there will be more minorities than majorities out here. Overall.
Yeah.
And they're trying everything in their power to make sure that doesn't happen. Hence abortion, hence all these things going out. Hence that people who marry people, if you marry somebody from another country, bring them here, they don't automatically get a green card. You see the ways to put roadblocks in your way? And trying to use fear-mongering tactics that our country's being invaded? Come on. Stop it. It's not. Oh, they're taking your jobs. What? The jobs of them doing landscaping work or working at a fast food restaurant
They didn't want. They didn't. A lot of people didn't want these
that you don't
jobs.
want to do?
Exactly.
You don't want to pick strawberries? You don't want to pick grapes? But they're willing to do so? They're willing to own their own businesses, whether as plumbers, mechanics, plumbers, painters, electrician, contracting, but you don't want to do it? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I respect their hustle. I respect their work ethic. I respect their culture. Just like they respect ours. But don't be that people. Don't be that guy. Don't be that. All right, Iron Walt. Time for the wise guy. Ready?
Yeah.
Pick your head up when I'm talking to you.
Very.
Get this through your head.
Wise guy.
You only exist out here because of me. That's the only reason. Without me, you personally, every wise guy still around, I'll take a piece of your
Wise guy.
Whiz. Your blonde don't ever go over my head again.
All right.
Okay.
We are here. So, I am Walt and myself. I hate people that tell things about themselves that they shouldn't. Especially people who are married to very high-powered, influential people. I.e., I am Walt's gripe with Aisha Curry. Now next to the carpet, Matt Stafford's wife,
Oh no.
Kelly Stafford. Got?
Oh no. I'm thinking about you said Matt Stafford's wife. I'm just saying. Oh.
I thought you got hot.
No.
Sit up, man. Sit up.
Listen, man. I'm tuned in as much as I can right now. Yo.
My man over there got the zooted eyes, boy.
Yeah. I do. But yeah, Matt Stafford's
So
wife was
Matt
out
Stafford
bounds.
wife's recently was on a podcast, and she had this to say.
Usually date and you were all in?
Yeah, girl. Anyways, long story short, it wasn't that cute of a relationship at first. I hated him. I loved him. I dated the backup to piss him off, which worked.
Yes.
He was like
That'll do it.
He was the bad boy too. Like Matthew's so sweet and Southern gentleman and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And the backup was the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Ooh, and it upset him. So they lived in the same dorm because athletes lived in the same dorm, and he would see my car there. And so at one point he like waited and followed me out and got in my car and wouldn't get out.
Stop.
And he was
You're
like,
this is so hot.
I was like, this is amazing. It's working.
Yeah.
I was get out of my car and he was like, he's not right for you. And I was like, what? You can't tell me that.
So Matt Stafford's wife, I am Walt,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
put a story out. After their 4 kids in, the man's Super Bowl champion. Why? Why would you go on a podcast platform and tell people this story? Why are you demasculating your husband like that? We don't have to know this. Well, Walt, did you know this story before she said anything?
I caught wind of it. Yes, I did.
No, before she said anything.
Yes.
Before this podcast interview, you knew about Matt Stafford's wife?
Yeah.
Oh, do tell.
So, I was watching. I think I caught a clip of it on IG at first.
No, I'm saying no. Time out.
Yeah.
I mean saying that if you didn't know this IG story had existed, did you know that Matt Stafford's wife was doing that to him or no?
No.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
No. I that part I didn't know. But what I'm saying ultimately is that we're in a time where there's just few and far between when it comes to women that come from a certain cloth. Those type of things. You have a family, you have children, you're together. You don't bring those type of things to
Bingo.
to a platform for viewers that listen to tune in, where now it's about chopping up a certain segment and making it go viral. Like now you don't do none of that stuff. Those are the type of things that you probably could joke about with Matt and whatnot, but all that extra stuff, to me, I didn't like it. It was corny, and my whole thing is like, if women would love the same respect that men dish out when they're not out here bragging about, personal stuff between that current woman, or bragging about personal stuff from, a woman in previous relationships. I don't like it.
I thought this was awful. Matthew Stafford is the quarterback of the LA Rams, who's still playing,
Yep.
still is very talented, right?
Yeah.
And now you done gave these NFL players ammo on the court. Like, hey man,
Sometimes you need it. I just
I heard your wifey,
I'd have
she likes the back. She don't like the main star. She likes the backup.
I'd have a serious conversation with my wife. Like those type
Why?
of things. Like, no.
Why would you
bro.
say that for?
No, no.
That doesn't need to be there.
Uh,
This man is a decorated player, and you out here doing that. What did you gain from doing this?
well, exposure. We're talking about it. We're talking about her. And again, like I said, these she probably was advised to, like, make it like, make it juicy. Cause again, you need views, you need likes, you need a level of engagement.
I am Walt.
Yeah.
Your kids will see this. Your family, his family, will see this. Why did you think it was appropriate to do that? Make it make sense, folks. Why? There was no need for that. That's something you keep to yourself,
Take it to the grave.
or for him or her to know about. The world didn't need to know about that you messed around with the backup quarterback and was teeing both of them at the same time. Why? Because I wanted him to chase after me. You see what I'm talking about? You see? You see, fellas? You see? This is the kind of stuff I talk about. You already saw what Will Smith's wife did to him.
Terrible. Terrible.
Now look at it now.
Entanglement.
It is entanglement. Jada talking about it's an entanglement. Are you kidding me? Got Willis snapping on stage and slapping somebody. There was no need for her to do that.
There was nothing again.
Your husband is already winning. You are already winning in life. You hit the literary jackpot every day you wake up. And here you are, blabbing your mouth. For what? You know how much Matt Stafford earns, his career earnings is, Walt? I'll let you know right now. I didn't know the numbers. Popped in my head. Matt Stafford's career earnings. Matt Stafford all times made $328 million. And she might have messed it up in 32 seconds in a clip online. You see, people? You see? Ain't nobody need to know this right here. You keep it between you and your husband. That's it. Because if Matt Stafford went out there and said, yeah, back in college, at the same time, she wasn't given to me enough at that, so I had to go see from my other roommate. And when I got her so mad, she came to my face, and I was like, oh, man, I wanted to have it. Bruh, ain't no need for that. People want to be in front so bad. Well, all you got to do is play the sidelines, homie. Play your position. You see Savannah do anything like that? No. But here she comes. Just nasty. Nasty work. So disgusting. Anyways.
Terrible. Terrible. Honor thy spouse.
That's it, man. Respect. Now you're going to have this guy looking crazy all season long. For what? I won't give him your handle, man. Disgusted with people. Walt.
Yeah.
Give him your handle, buddy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Man, look at edible.
I'm sorry. It's my handle is IM_Walt, WAL 4 T's at the end. My R&B is Dead page, and my Alte is the motion page.
Follow the podcast page at On The Record Pod. Follow me at DJINTENCE. And yeah, man, episode 155 is in the books.
Man.
We'll be right back next week for another On The Record Podcast episode.